welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. In Genesis chapter 3, verse 19, it says, "By the sweat of your face you will eat bread till you return to the ground." But at this point, they'd only existed in the garden where they'd eaten whatever they wanted from the fruit of the trees. How would they have known what bread was? Well, this is a really insightful question, because when we go back to Genesis 2 and 3, the formation of the gospel of the garden, we have the creation of Adam, obviously the subsequent creation of Eve. They begin the dwelling together. And then, of course, in chapter 3, we have that fall, the eating of the forbidden fruit. Now, we go back to Genesis 2:16. God made it very clear they could eat of every tree of the garden except the one of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, to your point, in verse 19, it talks about the bread being the sweat of the brow. I believe the context here at the end of chapter 3 isn't so much what they had eaten versus what they had not eaten when it came to culinary delights, as much as it is whatever that you had access to previously now is going to be the sweat of your brow or the sweat of your face by which you acquire those things. There's nothing in Genesis 2 or 3 that says they did not have access to bread or items of the such. And when we look at those two trees, eating of the tree of life versus the tree of knowledge of good and evil, I think what's interesting isn't just Genesis 3, but you go to Revelation chapter 22. I mean, here we have the context of the new heaven, the new earth, the new Jerusalem, and it talks about this tree of life producing its fruit. I think one of the deficiencies that oftentimes we have when we go to Genesis 2 and 3, and even Revelation 22, is maybe an over-literalization of the reading, the fruit of the tree. I mean, after all, Jesus Christ made the statement that he was a door, he was light, he was water. We obviously would never subscribe that he was those elements in an overly literal sense. And so again, one of the great perspectives when it comes to Bible study is this: take it literally at all times, unless it cannot be taken literally. Now, is it possible that it actually was, quote, fruit from a tree? Yes. However, in the context of verse 19 and bread and the brow, I would say God was referring more to the way they would acquire the food, not the specific food that they had or would eat. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.